Welcome to eFilm Lounge. This is my film review of David Bowie's MOONAGE DAYDREAM documentary after I saw it at the Melbourne International Film Festival recently. So this Brett Morgen doco film is about the life of artist David Jones, and it stars Bowie and it's narrated by David Bowie. The film includes unseen footage and archival performances. So this cinematic experience is an immersion of Bowie's essence of his life and his artistic philosophies. Bowie's loud, vibrant personality is amplified on the big stage. David Bowie was always a magnet for outsiders, and this collection of sequences depicts the myriad of personas and phases of Bowie's life as a prolific creator and avant-garde pioneer of the modern creative era. The visuals, masterful colour grading, superb sound design, brilliant editing in this doco are out of this world. This film is an experiential sound orgasm with mind-blowing visuals and trippy psychedelic transitions that seamlessly are stitched together to infuse deep spiritual and philosophical wisdom to its viewers. The documentary depicts Bowie's life on the public stage. The subtext was David's freedom and his creativity on his life journey. Themes that run throughout this documentary include freedom, chaos, transience, and fragmentation, which were through lines in the film. During a preview interview, Brett Morgen stated that throughout the film, David said that he was inventing the 21st century in 1971. Bowie understood the world was experiencing a sensory overload many decades ago with a bombardment of sound and images. So David created a process through his music to assist human beings to process this information overloads that they were beginning to experience in the modern era. Bowie's creative genius, his freedom mindset, and his overt sexuality are evident throughout this film. So too is Bowie's deep self-awareness and his reverence for spiritual matters. Bowie helped shift the shackles of humanity's restraints from the 1950s post-war era to unleash and influence new generations of creativity with unbridled passion and overt sexuality throughout all of his performances. In one scene in this doco, Bowie states that tomorrow belongs to those who see it coming. Words spoken by a true visionary. Brett Morgen, the producer who had access to David's estate to draw upon the montage of archival work that consisted of 5 million rare drawings and films, personal journals and recordings, said it was a labour of love that took him 2 years to screen the material and 5 years in total to complete his curation and sound design of David's most cinematic performances. This montage of David's life celebrates Bowie's legacy as a pioneer of music and avant-garde artist of the past century. David states in one scene, "Ever since I was 16, I was determined to have the greatest adventure that anyone could ever have." He further elucidates that all people wish they appreciated life more. It's what you do in life that's important, not how much time you have or what you wish you had done. Life is fantastic, he says. Brett Morgen became aware of Bowie's life-affirming philosophies when reviewing David's material, with David's recurring undertone that one should live their life to the fullest every day. Brett says that when he was producing the film, he realised that David was providing a roadmap on how to maximise one's time here and their life on Earth. When Brett was constructing the film, he said he worked with oblique strategies that were influenced by David, and there were no mistakes, just a perfect accident. He mentioned that during the premiere interview at the IMAX Theatre in Melbourne, that during post-production, we try to make a perfect film. However, sequences in the film were layered with perfect edits. Art is not perfect. It is imperfect approach to art in the imperfect style. Brett also said that David's philosophy was interesting. He was wildly creative, he was delicious in his philosophy. This is a film about how to live life in a fragmented life. The audio and visual experience of watching this film at the IMAX theatre is mind-blowing. If you get a chance to experience one film in such a setting, this is the top choice. Likewise, the sound design of MOONAGE DAYDREAM is superb. Brett mentioned after the film screening that to create such amazing sound effects, that the audiences cheering at David's concerts were given to sound designers to create a software program that produced a full stadium reverb effect, layering the soundscape out 10 to 20,000 times its original size. It's interesting to note that David's strong connection to Australia and Asia during the periods of 1984 to 1994, when he lived in Sydney and travelled and explored around Australia, Asia, Africa and Europe, were evident in many scenes chosen for this documentary. Bowie's strong understanding of culture is prominent in the film, with previously unseen footage of him visiting temples and participating in spiritual ceremonies with various spiritual gurus. There's also interesting footage of David ascending and descending up and down a neon backlit escalator at the Far East Plaza in Asia during the 1980s. During an interesting sequence, David mentions his astrological sign is Capricorn, with Aquarius and Leo rising. These insights into David's character show Bowie's deep awareness of his innate strengths, his need for structure and order in his musical craft, and when teamed with his Aquarian traits, which resonate around connecting with people, community, innovation and future-orientated thinking. With David's Leo references of strength, royalty and power, these are all true to his life path, as Bowie truly was elevated to a royal music rock legend of the modern era. David was also a master at connecting with and playing with his audiences. He was a pioneer in strategically understanding how to build online audience and engage with his music well before most musicians knew how to surf the internet. These are all true to style, typical Aquarian traits. The life and artworks of David Bowie were on display during this documentary, with his songs, dance, drawing, painting and sculptural projects showcased. The film also touched on the artwork Bowie created in Berlin, with the many German and Turkish muses that he painted. The theme of isolation was present in David's work throughout his life. This theme was evident especially with David's paintings during the Berlin period. During one sequence, David is heard as saying, when he was 16, he wanted to experience everything in life. He wanted to live his life to the full, and he wants to come back and do it again. Bowie's smorgasbord of outfit and persona changes from the 1960s to 2016 is masterfully stitched together in the threads of a psychedelic sequences that weaves a vast tapestry of Bowie's life across the big screen. Only David Bowie could pull off the beginning and end sequences of his doco with scenes set on Mars. David's space philosophy echoes throughout the film, with echoes that life goes on, it never ends. Words so true and powerful that the world needs to remember now more than ever. This Brett Morgen documentary about Bowie's life is a masterpiece. MOONAGE Daydream is by far the best documentary film I've ever seen.